with that, we're going to flip it over to Dr. Oliver Reed, who's been politely waiting for me to let him in.
Thank you.
Thank you. And I'm going to put it on to, how come I can't do this right today? Okay, well, this is the way it's going to be. So I'm super excited about having Dr. Oliver Reed here. He is, you're having it, when is your event? Is it this month?
It is, yes, it's next weekend, actually.
It's next weekend.
Well, it starts on Thursday, so the 26th through the 28th.
And guess who sponsored him? So we have all these in his swag bags, or I don't know what you call them when it's, and you can tell us a little about your event because it's in Florida, right? And I'm going to let you tell them after I read your bio. So allow me to properly introduce them, and hopefully I won't mess this up. Thank goodness I know how to read. Oh my goodness. I can't believe I said Harvard instead of Howard University. Oh, I'll be all right. Anyways, Dr. Oliver Reed is amazing and I love him. But besides that, is an international multi-best-selling and award-winning author, motivational speaker, and founder and president of I Am a Solution Consulting Firm. I love that. LLC. A human development organization providing specialized relationship, business, consulting, counseling, and coaching services. Also known as the writing coach, he uses cutting-edge writing and coaching techniques to help entrepreneurs, speakers, and coaches while leading them to live to their highest potential. In addition, he is the creator of the revolutionary interactive card game for singles and couples. Oh, I did not know that. The Inner and then View, all one word. Within the past 7 years, Dr. Reed has published 239 best-selling books. 239 best-selling books? Wow, only? That's it? You could only muster up 239? Like, that's a lot of books. Contributed to 17 anthologies and has won multiple awards for his literary work, including the 2016 IALA distinction. I don't know if there's another way of saying that. Distinction of Excellence, Legendary Honoree, and NAACP 2016 to 2017 Black Men Image Award. Dr. Oliver Reed has had the distinct honor of speaking to millions around the world and coaching individuals on 4 continents. Dr. Reed has been featured on HuffPost, Black Enterprise, ABC, CBS, Fox, NBC, Roku TV, and other international media outlets. And with that, I give you Dr. Oliver Reed, the amazing Dr. Oliver Reed. There you go. Take it away, Dr. Reed.
Thank you, Marianne. I love you as well. And I am so super, super excited. I was like, what's going on? I needed to get in here. I was really, really excited. And I do want to call your attention to something on the bio. That is actually the collection of people I published, as well as my work. So I'm super, super excited every time I'm on this particular platform to share and to receive. And I want to tell you, thank you for actually being a sponsor and putting those yummy vitamins and nutritious things in our bag. So listen, man, if you don't come for anything else, you should come for the yummy treats that's going to be inside of that bag. And we take you on board and say, hey, y'all, send those. And I know that you're super, super busy, but you made time to send it out to us, and we are grateful. And I will tell you, it will go to great use. And so you may be getting calls and people randomly saying, hey, I had some of your vitamins down in Florida. So amazing. Thank you so much for all you do. And I'm super, super excited. And just love all those people that are on. Shout out to Nikki and some people that I can see that's watching. but I'm super, super excited to share. And I promise you today, I'll get you back on track with those 30 minutes. Because I'll get you back on track with those 30 minutes. But
It's
listen, it
okay. Don't
is
worry about it. You do your thing. I'm gonna make it up at 12 o'clock and it's all good. So don't even stress.
awesome, awesome. So really, I really want to talk about today. I love coming here because I've always you're very heart-centered, and it is such a powerful thing in entrepreneurship. I was speaking in on some of the things Cedric was talking about in business and getting the AINs and the credit and all those different things straight, which I think that is so important. A lot of times in business as an entrepreneur, we tend to be either very organizational focused on what I mean by that structure and getting all of those things structured. And, to the fifth, 10th thousand power, we are actually focused on that, where we don't have the duality of the balance to also be heart centered. And I think that it takes a two-fisted fighter, for the lack of a better analogy, which means you have to fight for your heart and you also have to fight for your business. And I am one of the most transparent individuals that you'll see. So I'll talk to you about where I am today. And I think about so many different scenarios. A lot of times as speakers and as coaches and as business owners, we speak prophetically, for lack of a better word, or we speak to the future. And we are deemed to be by our clients and people in our circles as supermen and superwomen that don't go through anything. And, we just movers and shakers. And I know that, sometimes we've been taught, hey, take a licking and keep on ticking. Take that licking and keep on ticking. But a lot of times as entrepreneurs, Marianne, you know this, we have to do it with broken hearts. We have to mount stages and fulfill product inventory and be a parent, be a husband, be a wife, be a leader with a broken heart. And I found this out that many entrepreneurs, speakers, and coaches spend 60 to 80 hours a week in their craft, doing what they love. Can you imagine that? 60 hours a week doing what they love with a broken heart. Somebody put that in the chat. You can be a billionaire with a broken heart. You could be very successful and impactful and resourceful, but be depleted in your heart. Be depleted in your heart. Means you got so much in your natural account, but in your physical, emotional, and spiritual accounts, it can actually be in the negative while you are crushing stages. You could be crushing stages, maximizing impact, and doing things at the height and the pinnacle of your game, but your heart can be on E. I am reminded so many times, I love analogies, so I'm reminded so many times in traveling the highway of life that I'm going down the road and I'm seeing a car that I desire that I can't afford. All right, let's just be real. Sometimes you're like, oh, if I had this Maserati two-door coupe, it would be amazing. If I had the new Tesla SUV, it would be absolutely amazing. If I had the Rolls Royce, which is my dream car, one of the days, keep praying with me, Marianne. I want a Rolls Royce Phantom. That is my dream car. The reason why it has the R emblem already. My last name is Reed, so I love the R emblem. It's sleek, it's nice, it represents my personality. And you don't see Royces the road. You don't have to pull into a Safeway, a Walmart, a Whole Foods, a Trader Joe's, and you're not going to see too many Rolls Royces parking. It is a vehicle that they only make a certain amount, and from the last of my knowledge, a lot of it is handmade still. It is the Rolexes of cars. I love the R, right? So it's so many reasons I want this Rolls Royce Phantom. I can tell you, I want it to be black with the cherry wood interior, cherry leather. I've already envisioned myself riding down this highway with this Rolls Royce, or maybe in the back seat working on the next book, where I'm being chauffeured, right? There's nothing wrong with that because we put in hard work. And sometimes when you see that person riding or in luxury, you tend to judge them. Maybe they don't care about people, or maybe they don't have a sense of commitment to other individuals. But I found out something that is so unique, whatever the energy source, because right now we have electric cars, we have cars that are full gasoline still or diesel. But at the end of the day, I even think that our research, and they even have a car that functions with water. So there's all types of different ways and technology. But one of the things I realized that was so powerful that I want to share with every entrepreneur, speaker, coach, anybody watching right now. It is possible to be at the height of your game in a vehicle, but be out of gas. Put that down. So I've seen nice cars on the side of the road that couldn't take the snow because they wasn't built for it. Right? It was luxury, it was nice, but on the icy roads, and you appreciate that being in Canada. It's a different type of cold in Canada. I was in Canada earlier this year, I believe, and for my first time in Canada, and I was in Waterloo, and I was there with Gordon, the great Gordon Melville, and I was speaking at his event, but it was a different type of cold. I had been to Michigan nearby, and it's a different type of cold. But when I got there, it was a different type of cold, and I realized that hey, and it happened to be the first snow. Go figure. The day that I come, uh, my wife and I, we are freezing. We're with Jose Escobar. We're freezing, and then I remember Jose having the, he's cool. He had a blazer and his nice shoes, and we're sliding. I'm thinking I'm bundled up, but it's feeling like nothing that I have on, right? And so we stopped at Niagara Falls, and because we wanted to see Niagara Falls. I'd never seen Niagara Falls, and I remember it being so cold that the steam was coming out the falls, and I was trying to, enjoy it, but I couldn't. It was kind of like I'm trying to enjoy it, but I'm shivering. Anybody been in there? You're in a moment, but you're shaking because you haven't quite adapted. But I'm seeing Gordon, my brother, who I love, who has, I call it Apple Jazz hat, the little Apple Jazz hat, and he's out there with well, he had a coat on this time, but he's in sandals and he's in shorts. And I'm like, he's not shivering. Gordon, right? He's not bothered. I love him so much.
He's awesome. But Waterloo's only about an hour and a half away from where I live. So
wow.
I was out of the country at that time. I was in Dubai when you guys came. You guys came at a really cool time. So you gotta come again. I'm gonna have an event. So
yes.
You and me out of country.
We are going to be there. Trust me, we're going to be there. I love Canada. Next time I want to kind of explore it a little bit more. Got a chance to see a couple things. But I realized that this is so powerful, Gordon, as though he's adapted to that environment. What's so powerful and potent about individuals is that if you give us time, we will adapt to our environments. But let me go back to the car scenario. I didn't see Rolls Royces riding in Canada. I'm sure they are. But on that particular road, on whatever I saw around me, there's billionaires, trillionaires that live in Canada. At the end of the day, I did not see in rough terrain vehicles that were a luxury then. And I wanted to tell you something. But then also I go back, I fast forward, I go back even where I live in the DMV, Northern Virginia area. And I've seen high level cars on the side of the road. And my point is that even in the maintenance, even in the creativity of this ingenuity of this individual car, there's still things that can malfunction. Wow, at the pinnacle. I remember one time I was looking at a Maserati and the guy was like, hey, great car, but do you know the maintenance on that thing? It costs $1,000 for you to do an oil change. And I said, well, that just did it for me.
You know what? I actually know someone who's selling a Bentley if you want. You like Bentleys?
No, no, I like Bentleys, but I'm like, the maintenance right now, hey, you can have that, right? And so the biggest thing about it is we look at the posture of the vehicle, the luxury ride, the image, but what's under the hood matters. Each individual person has a heart under the hood. And my purpose of my talk today is to really see if our heart is aligning with what we have in our materialistic view, what we've obtained as individuals. And I realized, hey, that car is just the same as the other car. It gets point A, point B. And at the end of the day, if they're out of gas, they're going to be on the side of the road. And I want to speak to those leaders who are out of gas. And I want to kind of tell you, I'm in the midst of doing an event, Marianne. I know you've done many events. People are watching, you've done tons of events, and people see the end result. They see the glorious time they had. They'll see the takeaways. They'll see the dynamic speakers that will grace and mount the stage. But one of the things, and I'm going to give you something real and transparent, because I can only do this on Marianne's show. She gives me so much liberty to do this. You could be doing something great with the bad or leaky heart. Because in doing an event, you have to really guard your heart. I was on the phone with one of my core leaders as we were planning this, and I'm going to give you the 3 H's. This is going to be hot off the press. 3 H's. Now, you can raise your emoji hand or you can put it in the chat because we're streaming live. If you are doing an event, I'm going to give you the cheat code of how to guard your heart. Right? Because nobody really at that particular moment, when you're really, I'll say very few, planning and you're in the midst of doing an event, most people are not concerned about the visionary at that point. They are concerned with, hey, what time we got to check in the hotel? Hey, what time the flight leaves? Hey, who's speaking on this day? Hey, da 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 da. And I want to give you some bullet points. If you're planning anything, I want you to really write these points down, because if you're not careful, your event that you were passionate about, your event that you were excited about, your event that you prayed and the Lord gave you this vision, you wake up every morning and you're like, if I don't do anything else, I'm going to do this event this year. If you're not careful, listen, it will take over you and you will be depressed. Look at this, with a room full of people. I'm reminded of a great CEO, and I can't remember his name, but he was in a foreign country. He had put together this massive event, and during this massive event, he was really super excited. He went out, he burnt out. He was out of gas. He was like that Rolls Royce on the side of the road, right? He was out of gas. But guess what, guys? The room was full. Everybody got value. There was networking connections. He had made the most money he had ever made. He had massive influence, but he went home and he ended his life because he was suicidal because of the burden of that event. Can you imagine? He was on the top of his game. He goes home and he ends it because nobody saw his true heart. Nobody spoke to his true heart. And I put that's a drastic measure or illustration, but it is true. You don't have to be deceased to die to your dream. Write that down. You don't have to be deceased for your dream to die. You can still be working and not being fulfilled. You can still be on the highway of life and not be fulfilled. So I want to give you 3 H's for those who are movers and shakers like Marianne, right? That are hosting events of any capacity. I think we forget that even the visionary needs to be encouraged. He or she needs to be cared for in the process. Can I see an emoji hand, or I can't see the chat because I'm here, but can somebody raise their hand if you've ever done any event where you were hosting? There's a difference between hosting, and I'm going to give you some scenarios about hosting, and we're going to talk about these heart points, right? There's a difference between showing up to speak than hosting the event. I'm going to break it down for you. When you speak, you got to make sure your keynote, or if you're a panelist, make sure you're on point, you add value, make sure you're aligned, make sure your PowerPoint is correct, make sure you catch your flight, make sure you're there on time. That's the speaker, right? If you are a vendor, I'm going to break this thing down to you. You're a vendor, so let's go back to speaker for a second. The speakers has to be aligned with the purpose of the conference. And I'll be honest, I've seen both. I've seen great speakers who had value, then I've seen some speakers that their heart was totally different than the mission of the conference. One FYI to people hosting events, who hosting conference, make sure you get people that are not just eloquent and gifted and profound, that they align with the vision and mission of your event. Let me give you another cheat code. make sure you have people around you in your inner circle so that you don't always have to make the decision of who's going to speak at your event. I'm giving y'all $1 million worth of game because you might be blindsided by a great relationship with somebody, but they're not really adding value. And it's going to break the heart of your business. It's going to break the heart of your vision because you're just so familiar with them that you can't see. So it's good to have some people around you that are a counsel so that they can see, oh, well, Oliver, does this really align to the heart of what you're doing? I know she's great, he's great, but does it really align with the mission, with the purpose of what we set out to accomplish, right? So go back. The heart of the speaker is I need to be on time. A good speaker will say I need to add value. I need to be able to have some takeaways, and I need to align with the vision. Okay, that's a speaker. If you are a vendor, different heart set. Okay, I want to add value. I want people to buy my product. I want to network. I want to, saying, hey, bring money in because most of the time vendors have paid money out, right? So they want to be able to recoup in some way the money that they spent out. They want to be visible. They want to do whatever. So that's the heart of the vendor. And yeah, a bottom layer could be I want to add value to the conference and I want to align to the vendors. I will give you another key. People who are heart-centered, who are moving in business and you're having an event, you want to make sure that even the vendors align with the heart of the vision, right? If I'm doing, let's just be honest, all right? And it's going to be funny, but if I'm doing a vegan event, right? And I'm doing a vegan event, I don't need Potbelly Pork Smokehouse and Chicken as my primary sponsor, unless they have a new vegan option and they're promoting their vegan. If not, all the money in the world is going to be great, but people are going to come in confused. And guess what? It's called brand confusion. So basically, it smells really good, but I can't eat all of it. I can't eat any of it because your target market, your heart is to eat healthy vegan style, right? Your heart is to bring in vegans, right? So at the end of the day, having people with the heart and the mission of what you're doing is so important. All right. So we talked about vendors. All right. The next thing is if there's a panelist that's going to be, maybe you're having a panel to talk about whatever the vision and mission of your business or your event, and you are basically inviting these speakers to come. You have to again make sure they're going to come in and they should again almost like the speaker. They want to be on time. They want to be punctual. They want to add value. They want to be aligned to the heart of the vision. A good panelist, but I've seen both ways, right? But at the end of the day, I just gave you some scenarios about people when you're planning an event. But let me get to the main point. The host or the visionary doesn't just show up on time. They have to embody that. Write this down. A host must embody a visionary of your business. You embody the negative balance. You embody the positive balance. You embody the sold out tickets. You embody the tickets that are not sold. You got the caterer calling you. You have people who are at the last minute saying, hey, they can't make it. You're fielding the calls, whether you have a team or not. My team isn't big, so I still get the calls. I still get, I'm still in the back. I'm still a peon in the world of some of the things, but I have a great heart. I want to give you that scenario and somebody who can really be transparent. You might be saying, well, I'm ready to throw the towel in. I talk to so many people who do events and do movements, and that's what I really want to speak to today. Those who really, you're on that road as a Rolls Royce, but you're out of gas. You're on that road as let me say a Maserati, a Tesla, SUV or the newer models. You're on the road of that, and your business, and everybody loves you. I want to speak to that place today. So there's 3 H's I want to tell any visionary who is on the road and you feel push to be out in the world host. Before I do that, I want to give you a practical scenario, and women, you'll love this. And men too, but women will love this. There's a difference for you to go out to a restaurant and eat than it is to host a breakfast at your house. Let's look at breakfast, the most simplest meal. sometimes it's not that simple. You host a brunch at your house. You have to get up 2 or 3 hours early. You have to crack those eggs. You have to cook those, whatever it may be. You have to put everything up. You got to make sure the house is clean. You got to wake the kids up. You got to wake the husband up to give him a honey-do list. He has to go out and do whatever. He had to cut the yard because even though there's breakfast in the inside, you're concerned about the outside. You got to make sure that the living room is tidied up. Let's move all the toys. Let's hide all the stuff to the people leave. Right? It's a difference. That's my point. It's a difference when you host. So let me give you the 3 H's that I want you to understand, because I've seen a lot of people as I coach and train and teach, and even in my own life, that after the high of accomplishing something, they leave heartbroken. Can we be real? Type a 2 down in the chat, or 2 if you're watching this live and you have accomplished something where people have said, wow, Oliver, wow, Marianne, it's amazing. Wow, Rosemary, it's amazing. But you know within yourself, you are heartbroken. You are in the negative. You owe. You maxed out your credit card. Look at this. Help is hard. If you're really helping people, let's just be real. You maybe haven't heard it. I know that the status quo is to get up and, you play the music, you dance on stage, and everybody, oh, you're the host, and oh, you're doing this great work. But help is hard. Selling help is hard. Filling it, and if you're in the service industry or providing a service, it's hard. But have you ever been at a place where you've been at the pinnacle, but at the inside you are out of gas, right? So I want to give you the first point. When you are doing something powerful, let me tell you, make sure your heart is in it. Let me say it again. Make sure your heart is in it. We're going to need heart, we're going to need head, and we're going to need hood. I'm going to break that down. Heart, head, hood. These are going to be my 3 points. Heart, head, hood. We need all of those. Heart, head, hood. If you don't understand this, like the old people say in the church, you will understand this by and by. By the time I get to the end of this talk, you are going to understand if you're a visionary. And I want to give you the first key nugget, that being a visionary, being a host, being a pioneer is not going to be fair. It's not going to be easy. It's not going to be liked a lot of times. It's not going to be accepted. When you lead, you're not always going to be given applause. You're not always going to be giving likes and emojis. You're not always going to be shared among social media. You're not going to always be able to see the fruit of your labor in the beginning, right? And so I want to share this. So I call these, you can call these Dr. Reed 3 H's to hosting, to pioneering, to leading heart-centered visionaries. I'm speaking very specific niche down to even those that may not have stepped out on the waters yet, and you're thinking, and as you're watching, man, there's a great cause. There's an event that I want to do. There's a mission that I want to undertake. There's something that's deep in my spirit, deep in my heart, deep in my mind that I really want to do. And with that, it is so important that you take these 3 H's. So the first thing we've been talking about, put this down, I have to guard my heart. I have to guard my heart. Now, heart is not just this thing, this organ in your body that's pumping blood. I want you to look at heart in a deeper fashion. That heart is the pulse of your dream. It is the pulse of your vision. It is where your emotions are seated. Can we be honest? When you really start to lead and you really start to host, we really become very sensitive in what we're leading. Can we be honest? When you have that business idea, that idea, that dream, you're very sensitive at how people speak about it. You're very sensitive, and we have to guard that immediate visionaries, that you give them a word of advice because they're so raw. They're so ready to attack. So you say, hey, have you thought about, oh, no, I got it. I know what I'm doing. This is what I'm doing. All right. And so from that standpoint, it is so important that we understand that the heart, one biblical passage says that the heart, guard it, because out of it flows the issues of life. I want to say this: if we're not careful and we don't guard our heart, our emotions, we say this day and time, emotional intelligence. If I can't tell you anything else today, I want you to zoom on this for a minute. Emotional intelligence will make or break a dream. It will make or break an event. It will. How many ever been in an event? Nice hotel. You get there, nobody's at the front desk. It is a 5-star hotel. You paid $5,000 to be in the room. You've paid money to be there, and it's not on the visionary. Visionary that's just where she had it. But you get to the front desk and they're like, first of all, they're not even at the front desk. They're behind the desk and you have to wait, and there's a line behind you. They come out and they're like, "Hey, may I help you?" No apologies. "Oh, I'm sorry, you're waiting." None of that. I've been there, and they say, you say, "Hey, I'm Dr. Oliver Reed. I have a reservation," and they say, "We can't find you." Anybody ever say you have the reservation on your head, and they say, "Hey, can't find you at all listed here," and you're like, "No." You go to your app, your mobile device, you're like, "I have it here." "Oh yeah, oh, I'm sorry, my screen didn't refresh. Everything's lackadaisical." How many of you know it's very hard at that point to kind of hold your inner ninja? It's one of those things where you're like, "I want to fight, I want to strike back," and I'm already in a mode, right? And you have to kind of decompress that mode. So say the parking lot attendant, all these things are going wrong, and if you're not careful, your heart posture, it's already in a place where you, once the person hits the stage, you're already like zoned out. Anybody ever been there? I'm zoned out because I've had this rough experience. And so from that standpoint, you want to guard your heart. As a visionary, there's going to be things that come to you every day. When you're planning an event, when you're walking out these things, and I'm sharing this right where I am, walking out a movement that impacts men, for example, to empower men, a lot of times that's not as trendy as a 7-figure mastermind, right? A 7-figure masterminds, hey, people know instantly, I can probably gain something out of it, right? But when I'm in a place of empowering men, bringing men together, a lot of times they don't immediately see the end result or the takeaway. So you have to guard your heart. Listen, all of us got to guard our heart because things are going to come way. So why do we guard our heart? Because there's entryways. Because if it can get in your heart, I'm going to talk about the other H. If it can get in your heart, write this down, it can get in your head. If it gets in your heart, it will get in your head. Write that down. If it gets into your heart, it can get in your head. I know so many successful business people who are bitter because people have broke their heart. So they don't want new partnerships. They don't seek new levels. They don't want to do anything. It is making me money and I am staying here. I'm not wanting to do any philanthropy work. I don't want to help the next person because when I did in 1938, they broke my heart. They broke my heart. And so now I don't give to sponsorships. Anybody ever went out? And that's why I'm so grateful for Marianne, who gave gracefully to us. Because sometimes when you reach out to sponsorship, the first thing you get, no, I'm not taking any sponsors. No. And let me tell you, when you hear the word no, guard your heart, right? Because they're not rejecting you. Maybe they don't have it, right? Maybe they've already exhausted it. Maybe they don't know you as well. When they tell you no, just understand that no is a part of the process. It is a part of your vision. Everybody's not going to celebrate your vision. Everybody's not going to align with your vision. But you have to make sure it doesn't get in your heart. Remember, your heart is also, write this down, almost like a blank, I'm dating myself here, but almost like a blank CD. Remember we used to use CDs? Now we stream download, but there used to be a time with CDs and you had to burn these CDs. I remember going to these conferences and I would wait in line so that they would burn the CD and they would give me a copy of everything or DVD that was on video or either audio for that event, right? And so from that standpoint, think about your heart. If you're not cleansing it, thinking positive, guarding it, protecting it, and I think you can guard it with the thoughts that, hey, this person, hey, may not just be in alignment with what I'm doing. It's not personal. You have to tell yourself it's not personal. You have to guard your heart in that particular way, because if you're not careful, it will get in your heart. And if it gets in your heart, it get in your head. That's the second one. The second H is head. Head. Now, do you know people who make bad decisions because of broken hearts? Wow, let that simmer. Some of you left a job because your supervisor was so heartbroken that he or she couldn't appreciate the help that you were bringing. I mean, you came early, you bought the donuts, you came, you brought the idea, you made sure that you were pushing he or she forward. But at the end of the day, every chance they get, they would strike. Let's talk about relationships. Maybe you've been in a business relationship, a personal relationship, where you've given your heart, you've given everything. You brought your flowers, you brought your candy, you brought everything, you supported everybody's event. And it was time for you to have an event, and nobody showed up. I'm going to give y'all some good stuff. If y'all catch this right here, most people cannot support based on a past memory. Ooh, Dr. Reed, that's good for myself. Most people will not support you based on the past memory. It's not about you. Let me give that. It's about everybody that looked like you, right? So sometimes we're not giving a fair shake, a fair hand up, because they are already shut down in their heart, and in their head, they're making a decision to not embrace you, not support you. Let me talk to people who always support other people, but when you can just have a cookout, nobody comes. I mean, you invest in mastermind, you invest in strategic planning sessions, you invest in flying across the country, maybe even to another country. And when it was your time just to have a Happy Meal sandwich, and we're going to talk about whatever, they're not available. Let me free you. And I learned this. If you support anyone, and I know it's human nature, I'm guilty of this too, we have to get out of the mindset of them doing tit for tat. That's going to help you in your business. I hope this helping. If I come support you and I come and do something and I do it out of the kindness of my heart, don't expect, oh my goodness, my next event, you know what? They're going to do the same thing. They're going to, and if you're not careful, you'll be in that point of thinking that what I give out will automatically come back in the way that I give it. Look at this. You might sow a seed. You might get back a tree. Did y'all catch that? You might sow a thank you and get back a check. You might sow humility and get back a building. You may sow something, so don't get caught up on the even exchange of visually what you can see, because if that gets into your heart, it will get into number two, your head, and you will start making decisions out of pain. Now, I wish I had time to really talk about business trauma. That is a trauma. We talk about all the other traumas and all those other things. But anybody ever been to business trauma? People have raped your business. People have molested your business. They have taken your kindness for weakness. They have gotten a loan and you have fulfilled the shipment and they never made it right. I'll be real. Let's go. There's sometimes I look at my balance sheet and I see there's more money owed than what is coming in. Maybe I'm the only one. I may be the only one that when I look at my balance sheet, be like, deliver the product, deliver the service, but I'm still waiting on the payment. So I want to help you today that if you have to guard your heart, because if it gets in your head, you'll start making decisions. And let's be 100, right? Let's keep it all the way real. Because sometimes we're in desperate situations, we sign up for things that cut us out, underpay us, and undermine our business, because we are now in the negative. I need two people to sign up for $100, and you're giving $100,000 worth of value. You're giving $100,000 worth of value, but you're saying, man, I got to pay these bills today. Two of y'all sign up for 100. I'm going to give you 100 because right now my it's almost like, hey, I got to get this next sale, right? Because I'm hurting. right? So I hope y'all getting this and putting this down, that you have to guard your heart, and sometimes waiting it out, and sometimes going through a tough season and not selling your business, not selling yourself short, brings a tenacity and also a healing to your business and to your life, and you really see the value once you wait it. I was reading a story that the person that previously owned Victoria's Secrets sold it to the man that owns it now for $100,000. Can you imagine it? He
Wow.
sold the business for $100,000 back in the day.
Wow, lucky dude. That's amazing.
Can you imagine the type of steel? But I'm sure he probably was exhausted. He probably may have been depressed. He was before his time. Some of you listening to this call, but not all of you, are before your time. So sometimes I'm walking out, Marianne, we can talk about this more. I'm walking out things now that God birthed in me 20 years ago. But people are seeing it now, right? And so people think when that happens that it just happened overnight. But it was a process to become where I am today. Same thing for you. It's a process. So let's recap real quick. Guard your heart is the entryway. Your heart is the entryway. Your heart is your place of emotions. If you let people come into your emotions and run rash-eyed all over your emotions and get you up and down, you will move in your head. Your head, listen, is also an entryway, because whatever you think, you will become. I just gave you a nugget. I don't care who believes that. If you think, you will become it. If you think you'll become, if you think that you're going to walk into this place, then you'll eventually get there. If you think, oh no, I'm not, and nobody's for me, you will attract people who are not for you. And even if they're for you because you think differently, you'll think they're not for you. And if you're not careful, let me give you this word. We hear it as a buzzword. Anybody ever heard the word offense? Offense. Like, I am offended. How many times have you been pulled to the side? I have. You offended me by such and such. And I'm like, didn't even know you. I'm sorry. I didn't even know that I offended you. Write this down. Offended people turn everything off. So offended people turn everything off. It's like coming and having lights on in this beautiful mansion, and somebody offended will just come and turn the lights off, and then they'll say they can't see. Right?
Oh,
Offended
I love
people.
that one. Write that one down. That's amazing. So many awesome nuggets. I'm sorry, but we are like way over time, and I am so far. I'm literally an hour, almost an hour behind now, and so it's 11:15 almost. I do want you
Yeah,
to tell everyone about your event.
yes. So amazing. Um, the event that we're having is going to be in the Fort Lauderdale area. That's South Florida. It's called He Men Conference. It is an empowerment conference that helps individual men to have a safe and confidential environment that can empower the next generation. So our theme this year is called the construction site. So I will say this really, really quick. A lot of times people we build as men, but we don't allow ourselves to be built up. So it's going to be amazing. We have global speakers from coming across the country, the world, and just being able to pour into men. It's going to be 3 days. And listen, if you are active, retired military is free. If it's a college student, high school student, the registration is free. All right, so you can go to www.hemensconference.com. That's www.hemensconference.com. Later on, I will pop that in. You want to be here in an environment to build marriages, to build homes. As men, we are losing. We're losing right now in a lot of areas. I talked about it, what I was sharing now. You can have the house, the home, whatever it may be, but if you don't have the peace of the rest, it does nothing. And so we're super, super excited. There's going to be some great speakers, a great time of fellowship. Everything from finances to future to marriage to money. We're going to be hitting so many different topics. And so, again, thank you, Marianne, for supporting us. And if you come, you'll get these yummy vitamins. You'll be able to get these things that help you health. I've been using them and bring awareness to your mind, brain, body. It's super. So thank you, Marianne.
Thank you so much. And I could listen to you all day. I swear I could. But I'm already so
No.
and my next guest is waiting. But thank you so much. If you could please put your link onto my Facebook page, not in here because they won't see it in here, Dr. Reed. If you go onto my Facebook page underneath the live, if you put it in a few times, that'll be best. And then if you all miss that and you want it, just connect with me and I will be happy to connect you with Dr. Oliver Reed. Okay. Thank you so much and good luck. Let me know how it goes. And I know you have a lot of people there all the time. Like last year you had what, like 100 of them almost? Or I know a lot of my speakers are going to be there as well. I know Jose's going to be there for sure. Anyways, thank you so much. Wonderful as always.